Most people come to Tanzania to see the wildlife in the Serengeti and Ngorongoro crater. Seldom experienced by travelers is the human side of Tanzania. Joyful, tender-hearted people living a way of life that links parent to child and family to family. Ties that are now being severed by the AIDS pandemic gripping sub-Saharan Africa. As a Global Service Corps volunteer training Tanzanians in HIV/AIDS prevention, nutrition, and biointensive agriculture, you will be rewarded with an extraordinary sense of fulfillment and the confidence that you are making a difference. Global Service Corps Tanzania programs are based in Arusha, the gateway city to some of East Africa's most popular safari destinations. Where 4x4s and modern services in this bustling town blend with a traditional way of life. The collage of sights and sounds leaves no doubt that you are really in East Africa, and it's thrilling to be here. During orientation, you learn basic Swahili. The locals love any attempts you make at speaking their language.
Ni karibu mboga zote.
In-country coordinator Frida Lawo, who has lived in the Arusha area her entire life, will arrange your homestay with a local family. Living with your host family is sure to be one of the highlights of your stay. You will be warmly welcomed and become quickly immersed in the Tanzanian culture.
Well, the family has been fantastic for me from the start. It's a very nice way to see what it's like to live in a family in Tanzania.
I think we are so happy to be together. She's happy with us and we are happy with her. Yeah.
Under the direction of Rick Lathrop, Global Service Corps began working in East Africa in 1994, teaching sustainable agriculture to farmers, and soon came face-to-face with the devastating impact of the AIDS pandemic. In 1995, Rick launched the Global Service Corps HIV/AIDS Prevention Education Program. Global Service Corps has since been continually engaged in groundbreaking work in AIDS prevention and care, income generation, nutrition, and food security for individuals and communities affected by AIDS. Sub-Saharan Africa has just over 10% of the world's population, but is home to more than 60% of all people living with AIDS. No other region in the world has been hit harder by the AIDS epidemic. Tanzania is the 6th poorest country in the world and lacks the medical, economic, and political resources needed to combat HIV/AIDS. During training, you visit AIDS patients. Due to overcrowded hospitals, most terminal patients remain at home, where stigma and poverty limit care. Felista is dying of malaria in the final stages of AIDS and lacks every kind of support. Free quinine could ease her suffering, but she can't afford to buy enough food for her stomach to tolerate the medicine. As a GSC volunteer, you provide education crucial to alleviating such AIDS tragedies. In all Global Service Corps programs, you learn and you teach. In HIV/AIDS training, you practice role-playing to motivate behavior change. In the HIV/AIDS Summer Day Camp program, you use role-playing and other fun and creative activities to build life skills and HIV/AIDS awareness. 50% of all HIV infections in Tanzania occur between the ages of 15 and 24 years. This type of education is essential for this high school age group. During the school year, you teach in classrooms.
And then I'm going to have high risk, low risk, and no risk. And you're going to have to tell me which category the activity goes under.
In all of your teaching sessions, you partner with trained Tanzanian counterparts who translate and provide local cultural information. Students trained by GSC act as peer educators, teaching their classmates and parents about HIV/AIDS. As a volunteer, you are a trainer of trainers, the first link in a chain reaction of educational program expansion throughout the Arusha area. And you teach in community centers.
HIV is a human virus.
Educating people about the biology of HIV and stages of progression can help prevent AIDS and dispel damaging myths. You teach farmers groups in rural areas. These villagers are playing the favorite lions and elephant game to illustrate how HIV attacks the body's protective immune system, leaving it defenseless against other diseases and infections. Sarah Campbell from Vancouver, Canada, decided to become a GSC volunteer to explore international health as a future career. In the first half of her program, Sarah was trained in HIV/AIDS prevention and taught in local high schools.
It's been definitely an unforgettable experience.
In the second half of her internship, Dr. Urasa introduced Sarah to local medical treatments for sub-Saharan diseases.
The cultural aspects of health, as well as being here shadowing the doctors, really helped me see sort of different sides of the health field.
For Gabby, being a GSC health intern has made a major impact in his life.
I think after being here, I understand why I want to be a doctor. You know, I wanted to be a doctor for 11 years, and the first time that I really understood why that was so was working here.
While participating in his GSC program, Gabby saw the need to sustain a food distribution program for AIDS patients at the Arusha Needy Hospice, a wonderful example of GSC volunteers' involvement in a long-term project. AIDS has reduced Tanzania's agricultural labor force. The Global Service Corps' Biointensive Agriculture, or BIA program, addresses the impact of AIDS by teaching farmers techniques to increase food production of health-enhancing food. Your hands-on training in BIA Sustainable Organic Agricultural Methods takes place at the Tengeru Agricultural College GSC demonstration plot. Prior agricultural experience is not a requirement, just enthusiasm to learn and a willingness to work outside. You learn how to build compost from locally available crops, and the double digging method to maximize root development. The raised bed surface area gives farmers a 3 to 4 times higher yield of plants than conventional methods in the same amount of land. After your training, you educate Tanzanian farmers groups, including people living with AIDS and their families. BIA creates nutritious, immune system building produce. It also generates income from higher crop yields and eliminates the need for expensive chemicals, fertilizers, and machinery. Previously trained by GSC, volunteers provide the Umoja Farmers Group training in garden planning.
But it's reliable, it's always around, and it's free, essentially.
Further training in crop rotation, companion planting, and compost optimizes benefits to the farmer and the environment. And BIA-trained farmers are realizing the benefits.
Yeah, it's high production at the very small area. For example, 4 meters, he produced 20 kg of corn, 20 kilogram of corn.
Mama Jo lives in a tiny shack behind her son and daughter-in-law's house in rural Tanzania. Trained with the rest of the Umoja Farmers Group, Mama Jo is now tripling the income from her garden for the economic independence she has always wanted.
She's on her process of building her house, a permanent one, and due out from income she gets from this garden.
These Maxoro village women were trained in BIA by GSC volunteers in 2004. This farmer has changed to biointensive agriculture because it's free from chemicals, so her family is healthier.
Naitwa Basilisa Pita, niliamua kulima kilimo hai bila kutumia sumu ya aina yoyote wala mbolea dukani, kwa maana kilimo hai pia ni afya bora katika jamii yangu pia na mimi mama msasi.
She decided to use sustainable farming methods because it cost less than conventional techniques.
Kilimo hai kwa sababu kwanza hakitumii gharama nyingi.
Poverty prevents access to AIDS medications. In GSC programs, you include training in nutrition to lengthen and improve the quality of life for Tanzanians living with AIDS.
HIV makes it difficult for your body to take in nutrients.
Using different colored food cards for carbohydrates, protein, and vitamins and minerals, You assess what locals have eaten in one day and reinforce the variety of nutrients needed for a balanced, healthy diet. To rural villagers, mixing and eating raw vegetables is an entirely foreign concept. Demonstrating how to prepare a fresh salad introduces multiple ways to add the missing variety of nutrients to their diets. Weekends are a time for fun with fellow volunteers and Tanzanian friends. To go hiking on Mount Meru right at your doorstep, or on Mount Kilimanjaro right down the road. To get a glimpse into the Maasai culture by visiting a Maasai village. And included in your GSC program is a day safari to beautiful Lake Manyara or Ngorongoro Crater. Whether you're spending 2 weeks or 6 months of your life as a Global Service Corps volunteer, your work will provide invaluable education to a poverty and disease-stricken area. And somehow you'll feel more human, more humane, and more capable than you did before you came to Tanzania.